Hello action figure fans, this is HammerTron here with a new action figure review for you. This time I am reviewing the Fortnite Legendary Series Raven action figure by Jazwares based on the Fortnite game by Epic Games. This was released in 2019. I bought it sometime in 2019 or 2020 and I'm getting around to opening it now. It comes in a very nice window package where we can see the action figure and the accessories that it comes with. Here's the top where the window wraps around to the top. Here is the bottom with some manufacturing information. One side where the window wraps around to the side. The other side where the window wraps around to this side, lets in more light. Here is the back with a picture of Raven from the game. Brooding Master of Dark Skies. Here's a cross-sell showing the other action figures available at the same time. This is part of the third wave of 6-inch action figures. And I'll review this in just a moment. Here are the accessories that come with Raven. We get a backpack or back bling, and this looks like it is meant to be a cage. Maybe it holds a real Raven. I'm not sure, I haven't played the game. And an in-game item, some kind of cube. And this cube has a little hole here, and this hole is meant to fit on the thumb of a character or action figure, so we can make it look like it's holding this cube. Some nice painted details there. We get 2 extra face plates for Raven with different style eyes. We just pull off the face plate and plug this into the head. We get a harvesting tool. Very nicely sculpted and painted. Very scary looking, so interesting. And we get a handgun. Nicely sculpted there. Some extra painting on it, so I like the attention to detail. And here, I'm not sure what kind of rifle this is meant to be with a long scope like that. Maybe it's like a sniper rifle, but lots of sculpted details there, and it has some nice painting on it, so very impressive set of accessories. Here is the Raven action figure freed from the packaging. Let's see how tall this action figure is. According to the tape measure, it's about 6¼ inches tall, or about 16 centimeters tall. So nicely sized action figure, and it certainly looks cool. Kind of a dark and mysterious looking character with a hooded face that is concealed, or maybe that is just his face, some black void with a couple of eyes. So nice hood around it. It's an extra rubbery plastic piece attached to a head, and looks like some feathers, some plastic rubbery pieces, more plastic rubbery pieces here on the shoulders, very pliable, so it does not interfere with the articulation too much. And another rubbery scarf around the neck here, covering the torso. I think we've seen this torso on some other action figures, but from the Epic Games Fortnite, I think a lot of the characters share similar appearances. And tattered looking piece of robe, and it's a rubbery, kind of a pliable plastic, and with the pliable plastic we get a nice appearance. It certainly looks nice, but this kind of rubbery plastic does interfere with some articulation, and it could get damaged or rip apart if we're not careful. So I think I'd prefer actual cloth instead of rubbery plastic, even though the cloth cannot get quite a nice look like this. It's lighter weight and it would not interfere with the articulation, and obviously it's an action figure. We can see the cuts for the articulation, so even if the cloth goods don't look quite as good as the rubbery plastic, considering it's an action figure, I think that's an acceptable trade-off. Here's some nicely sculpted legs and a shin guard. peg holes in the heels. You have some nice detail on the back. There's a hole to plug in the backpack or back bling. Let's take a look at the articulation with the head. We cannot really go up. We can go down, but not up. We can turn side to side. Maybe just a little bit of tilting, tiny bit, barely noticeable. At the shoulders, we can go out. These plastic pieces do bend, but if we leave it in this position, it might warp over time. It does hinder the articulation a little bit. We can't quite go as high as I think we should be able to go. And the shoulders do go around. And no butterfly joints here. No, not really. It just kind of wobbles a little bit, but I don't think that's a butterfly joint. We have bicep cuts where that will turn at the bicep, so that works. Very nice. Double jointed elbows, so that is working. Those are working pretty nicely. And at the wrist will turn. They both turn, that's good. And there's a hinge. This one works. It's ratcheted, so it takes a little effort. And then there's finger articulation here. So that's pretty nice. This wrist does have a hinge, but I have not been able to get it to move, and I'm not going to keep pushing. I'll have to try to loosen it somehow. This also has finger articulation here, so that is working. We have a diaphragm cut where we can crunch forward just a little bit and back just a little bit. Go all the way around. That's pretty nice. Waist twist, so that is working. At the hips, that's about as far as we can go for the splits. I think the action figure can go quite a bit further. However, the soft rubbery plastic here for his tattered cloak is interfering with the articulation, which is why cloth would certainly work better. It would not interfere with the articulation as much. And we can kick forward. Very loud ratcheted joint there. Kick forward just that much. And back a bit. And kick forward. Yeah, very loud ratcheted joint there. And that just makes me a little nervous. And back. Does go back a little bit. There we go. So I hope nothing is breaking there. It's just louder than I expected. There we go. We do have upper thigh cuts. So that is working a little bit. That one, this one works better. We have double jointed knees. Let's see if we can get it aligned just right. There we go. So the rubbery plastic is interfering with the articulation a little bit, forcing the legs to go a certain way. Let's see, does that work better? Yeah. So we can't get them both up at the same time because they run into each other. We do have twist at the shins. That is working, where this shin guard is attached to the lower leg. Same thing on this side. At the ankles, you can do tippy toes and go up this far. Not too bad. We have ankle pivot, so that is working, and this one is working, and toe articulation. So the joints seem to be working. A little bit of hindrance to the articulation because of the rubbery plastic there. The ratcheted joints in the hips there are pretty loud and have me just a little bit worried. I hope nothing is actually breaking as I articulate it. This hinge did not work, so a little disappointing. I'll see if I can loosen it up later. Now let's see if I can get him standing again. There we go. Here is Raven next to a pair of 4-inch action figures. On the right is an adventurer from an Animal Planet that I reviewed a while ago. On the left is the Fortnite Raven action figure from the 4-inch line by Jazwares. This Raven came with the first Turbo Builder set, and it looks like both Ravens look pretty much the same except for the size. Here is Raven next to a 6-inch scale action figure on the left, the Action Force Condor action figure by Valiverse, and a 7-inch action figure on the right, the Masters of the Universe Masterverse He-Man action figure by Mattel. And it looks like Condor is actually about 6.5 inches tall, so he's just a little taller than Raven. Raven would certainly make a scary enemy. Even though he's a little smaller, he's still pretty scary looking compared to either 6 or 7-inch scale action figures. This Raven action figure is certainly a very cool action figure. I like the way it looks, and it's useful for a variety of displays or dioramas like horror and fantasy, maybe possibly science fiction. Just a couple of problems with the joints. The wrist joint didn't work very well, and the hip joints were very loud, and it made me nervous. The finger articulation is interesting, but the finger articulation makes it just about impossible for Raven to hold this harvesting tool in any kind of position or pose. It just falls out of his hands very easily. I'm happy that they put a little hole in this cube to plug into his thumb so that he can look like he's holding that cube. So it's a good idea. So all in all, it's a pretty nice looking action figure. Thank you for watching my review video. Remember to like the video, leave a comment, let me know what you think of this action figure, and subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with my future reviews. I'll see you next time, action figure fans.